Archaeologists say they have found a gold leaf-covered mummy sealed inside a sarcophagus that had not been opened for 4,300 years. The mummy, the remains of a man named Hekashepes, is thought to be one of the oldest and most complete non-royal corpses ever found in Egypt. It was discovered down a 15 meters, 50 feet, shaft at a burial site south of Cairo, Saqqara, where 3 other tombs were found. One tomb belonged to its secret keeper. The largest of the mummies that were unearthed at the ancient necropolis is said to belong to a man called Numjidef, a priest, inspector, and supervisor of nobles. Another belonged to a man called Mary, who was a senior palace official given the title of secret keeper, which allowed him to perform special religious rituals. A judge and writer named Fetek is thought to have been laid to rest in the other tomb, where a collection of what are thought to be the largest statues ever found in the area had been discovered. Several other items, including pottery, have also been found among the tombs. Archaeologists found residential buildings, towers, and what they called metal workshops, containing pots, tools, and Roman coins. Egypt has unveiled many major archaeological discoveries in recent years, as part of efforts to revive its tourism industry. The government hopes its Grand Egyptian Museum, which is due to open this year following delays, will draw in 30 million tourists a year by 2028. But critics have accused Egypt's government of prioritizing media-grabbing finds over hard academic research in order to attract more tourism. At a site in Egypt, archaeologists found more than 100 such mummies which were not of humans, but of crocodiles. Something was written on the coffins of these crocodile mummies. After reading and understanding which, the experts were shocked and upset. Thousands of years ago, when people used to die in ancient Egypt, they were preserved by applying chemicals, so that their bodies do not deteriorate over time. After reserving, the mummy was also decorated according to its level or its rank, and then it was buried under the ground or inside a tomb. Although archaeologists have found many mummies from Egypt, but the 7 mummies you will know about today were those mummies. When they were seen for the first time, it was very difficult for experts and archaeologists to believe. So let's start. Number 7. Lady Ray. Among the oldest mummies of ancient Egypt, the mummy of a woman is also found, who has been named Lady Ray today. About 140 years ago, this mummy was found in the area of Thebes tomb in Egypt, which surprised the archaeologist. Investigation revealed that 50 years ago, Lady Ray died at the age of about 35 years, and it seemed that she used to be a nurse or maid of an ancient queen. But this thing surprised the archaeologist. Those were Lady Ray's hairs. Despite the passage of thousands of years, Lady Ray's hair was still well preserved. There were also some parts of his hair which looked as if they had come out only a few months ago. Lady Ray was preserved during that period with Jesus' hairstyle. That hairstyle is also decorated like this till date. Number 6. Ramses Gavesek. Ramses II was the most famous leader of ancient Egypt. Compared to other Egyptian emperors, Ramses has held the throne for a very long time, and when he died, his age was 90 years. In 1881, a small village in Egypt was found in Saqqara. This is the place where only ancient kings, queens, or upper class were buried. The archaeologist who exhumed the mummy, he said that as Ramses II used to be powerful in his era, even after thousands of years, his mummy was looking equally powerful. No one knows the exact number 2, but you will be surprised to know that according to research and DNA tests, Ramses was the father of 150 children. In 1974, it was noticed that the mummy of Ramses II was rotting. For this reason, it was immediately decided to take his mummy to Paris, where it will be treated. But according to international rules, whether a person is alive or dead, it is necessary to have a passport to cross the border. For this reason, Egypt issued Ramses I's passport, in which he was given the status of king. Remember that this was the first passport in the world that was issued for a dead person. Even while landing in Paris, the mummy of Ramses II was given full military honors. Number 5. Tutankhamun, or King Tut. Not only were the finders surprised by the discovery of these rings, but Tutankhamun's mummy had surprised the archaeologists of the whole world. Tutankhamun's mummy was locked in the room. He was found 20 feet below the ground, about which you can also watch this video. Tutankhamun was the youngest king of Egypt, who got so many powers only at the age of 9 years. Its mummy was found in 1922 from a tool of making jewelry, where immense treasure was also buried along with the mummy. And for this reason, Tutankhamun's mummy surprised the whole world. It was believed about the tomb of this king, who died only at the age of 19, that there is some such soul inside it, and there is an abode of demons who are saving this mummy and treasure. Lot's name was the person who funded the search for Tutankhamun's tomb. Surprisingly, only a few days after receiving the mummy of King Tut, the return ship had died due to mosquito bites. Number 4. Crocodile Mummy. A team of archaeologists was working in Mulberry Jat, an ancient city in Egypt. His target was to find mummies or buried treasure. But his hopes were dashed when not one or two, but more than 100 such mummies were found from this place, which were not of humans, but of crocodiles. Thousands of years old crocodiles, which were preserved with great mastery. At first, the archaeologists could not understand why crocodiles have been reserved instead of humans. But later some such things were found from the coffins of these crocodiles on which something was written, and then the game of this mystery was overturned. Archaeologists were more interested in the writing on each crocodile's shroud than the crocodile itself. After all, thousands of years ago, what was the relation of the ancient Egyptian man with these crocodiles? And why were they preserved with such respect? The answers to these questions were in the sea writing, which was written on the shroud of the crocodile. Research has shown that the ancient Egyptians used to consider the crocodile as a god, because for them the crocodile was a symbol of strength. In that ancient era, such effigies were also made from ancient Egyptian, whose head is like a crocodile and the lower part is like humans. Number 3. Gazelle Mummies. Crocodiles were not the only animals whose mummies were found in Egypt, but archaeologists have also found mummies of many deer. This deer mummy you are seeing, it died about 3,000 years ago, and it seems that it was a queen's pet deer. When the archaeologist found this deer during the excavation, he was surprised to see that along with the king and someone else, the deer was also buried in royal style. That is, the method which was used by kings and others to preserve them. This deer was also preserved with the same pride and was put in the royal coffin. Number 2. Mud Mummy. Egyptians used to preserve the human body by using a chemical derived from a special plant, which is also called. This chemical was very expensive, and for this reason only rich people could afford it. All the mummies found by the archaeologists were put on them, so that the body would not deteriorate over time. But Australian oncologists were surprised when they found a find that was not covered with resin, but with clay. This mummy belonged to a woman who died at the age of about 25. But there was something else besides the soil on her coffin that troubled the archaeologists. It was found from the lab test that this mummy was 3,000 years old, but the soil that was planted around it was planted many years after its death. After research, it was understood that this mummy belonged to a woman from a poor household who could not afford it. For this reason, it was preserved with soil. But why was it buried many years after its death? It still remains a question mark for archaeologists. Number 1. Mummy with a tattoo. Getting tattooed on the body is considered fashionable in today's modern times. But even in ancient times, tattoos used to be very important. At the House of Egypt's Deir el-Medina, archaeologists have also found mummies of such women whose bodies have been seen with tattoos. More than 30 tattoos were seen on the body of a mummy. Archaeologists say that before today they have never seen mummies with tattoos on them. But after seeing this, it would not be wrong to say that tattoos had a lot of importance in Egypt too. Ancient Egyptians who were masters of decorating every wall, from the Valley of the Kings to the hidden chamber inside the Giza pyramids, we see only decorations everywhere. It is possible that along with the mummy who had tattoos on her body, she was a wall artist in that period and had a lot of role in decorating the chambers of Kings Valley. Friends, what are your thoughts on this matter? You can tell us by commenting. If you liked the video, then share it with your friends and relatives along with liking it, and to get such information, subscribe to our channel.